Hey guys, what's up? It's Brian with 517 RC Trail Crawling again. What you see before you is the new revised Grando. Yes, this is my very first crawler, and I've done a lot to it, and I think I'm finally done. I fixed my issues, which were steering, if you guys remember, or if not, this was a Leagendary Grando that I converted to four-wheel steer. And because it was my very first crawler and I had no idea about suspension geometry, I left a four link and I threw in chassis mounted servos with really poor angles, I guess. Steering angle was awful. Not just the steering angle that I received, but like my steering link, the angle was just really bad. It was really far. The servo was really far forward. It was in the forward mount, like where you would put a winch servo usually. And so I didn't know anything about this stuff, so it was just bad. And I did the same thing for the front, or the rear, I should say. So I lost a ton of torque just because that angle was so awful. And then with the four link, anytime there was slop in my links or rod ends, it just translated to side motion of the chassis every time you would try to steer, and you would lose a bunch of steering. Another headache I had was the two-speed. I had it working, and it would work for a little while, but I guess water would get in the transmission. I run this rig everywhere, right? Creeks, whatever, it's all good. But when the water would get in there, that two-speed dog would get real sticky, and I just couldn't shift anymore reliably. No matter how many times I adjusted it, I just couldn't shift. And now that I have a bunch of other rigs in my collection, I don't need the speed out of this anymore. I just want it to be a trail rig. So I've redone it, and steering is good. I hooked up the light bar up top. As you can see, I never used to have that. I got my rock lights on the bottom running. So let's dive in and see what we got going. So you know it, you love it. It's the Grando, it's Keanu Reeves, all cyberpunked out. Interior is the same. Orange guitar. I did move the sound system from here. I have a better location for it now. And I've got a spot for a servo, and my steering servo is in the correct position. So let's check out the front end. Look at that steering link and pan hard now. At rest, at ride height, they are very similar in length. They are parallel. Look at that. I love it. It works so much better now. And I have done the same in the rear. Different lengths, but I've spaced them out. They are parallel with each other. They're the same length. And it all works so much better. So what did I do to achieve this? Well, let's turn this off. So I bought a builder's kit for the Element Enduro, and I parted it out to make another rig. So what you see here is the Element frame rails, the Element plastics, Element sliders, Element pans, I don't know what you want to call them. I stuck with my original inner fenders, front and rear, but I had to do a ton of trimming. I have different bumper mounts. Same bumpers. They're way more rigid now. They don't flex at all. I used the high clearance element links that come with the builder's kit. Nice and slippery. Got good angles. I've got the element skid. It's better than the original, or the Grando skid. Axles are the same. I had to get a longer drive shaft in the rear. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Maybe the skid is mounted a little bit more forward than the original Grando, but it's the same brand. It's a, I don't know, KYX or something, steel drive shaft, front and rear. Clearance is really good. Nice and flat. There's a tiny bit of drive shaft poking down below, but that's not something I worry about. I moved the sound system down here. I swapped the transmission out completely because I did not want that Leagendary transmission anymore. I was over it. So this is just a like Benedict Harry or KYX, whatever, 3-gear transmission. Not reverse transmission, which is very popular. And I put that in the first time and realized that drives your front and rear axles different direction to reduce torque twist, blah, blah, blah. These diffs I couldn't really flip to accommodate that. So we got this thing in. It's a little bit loud. It's got the all-metal spur. I don't really think that's necessary, but... And then I swapped in the Crawlmaster Sport 13 turn. Still on the same hobby wing. Battery tray is now here instead of this way. What else? I kept the same receiver box. The element box didn't have enough. There's a lot of cables on here, a lot of wires here, and the element box doesn't have a big enough output and to keep it waterproof. So I went with this box, mounted my switch here, which I can reach that way if I need to. I kept the shocks, the same shocks. I rebuilt them, and you know what? For these cheap shocks, or let me rephrase that. For these very inexpensive shocks that come included with Grando, they're very big bore, whatever, but they don't leak. I mean, compared to other stuff that I've got, my Vanquish Phoenix shocks, G-Made shocks, they all leak horribly. This was even my Axial SX10 tube shocks leak. These are fine. I don't have issues with these. But I did throw on some shock keys, whatever you want to call, because I wanted a little bit lower, a little bit more flexy in the back. So right now that's where it sits. I'm not sure how much Grando is left in it, but it's still fun. It's definitely not as fast. These portals and the gear reduction, or the gear reduction, this 3-gear. We don't have speed. We don't have wheel speed, but I'm fine with that. So yeah, there you have it. What do you think? Give me a comment, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Let me know what you think about this Grando, and if you have one, what do you like, what do you dislike, and what have you done to it? All right, see you later.